Hi, and welcome to Two Tired Teachers,
Coming at you from Lake Mineral Wells State Park.
which is part of the Texas Parks and Wildlife System and Texas Trailways, which is a trail that goes from Mineral Wells to Weatherford or Weatherford to Mineral Wells.
The park is large, but it feels small because it has so many areas. We're going to start with the day use area.
Day use side has a rock climbing area.
One of only 4 Texas areas in the Texas State Park system with rock climbing.
And in this area, there's also a picnic area. And one of the picnic tables, actually, there are several places up here where there are rock picnic tables, which is very unique and a fun place to stop and have lunch with a view of the lake. Coming down there are also 6 fishing piers within the park, 3 on the day use side and 3 on the camping side.
And a very nice swimming area.
With a large swimming area that slopes down gradually. At that park store, you can also rent kayaks, paddleboards, and canoes.
And then we're going to get into
Screen shelters.
Screen shelters. The screen shelters have no AC. We're in Texas, remember that.
And then the Post Oak camping area is for water only.
Mostly tent camping.
And then the Live Oak is 50 amp, and this is a sampling of some of those sites. There are 2 loops to that. And remember, really at this park, there aren't bad sites. Even if you're on the inside loop, you don't usually see the people who are camping behind you.
And then we have the plateau area. The plateau area is 30 amp.
And this area has, there are a lot of sites that are near the lake and you can actually fish from your sites. Well, another thing that's kind of unique about this park, not all parks have equestrian sites. And those sites do have 2 places for you to tie your horses.
And they are
water only. Now, this area has a lot of trails. There is a hike out to the primitive trails that's 2.5 miles long. We did not hike out there to get you pictures of those sites. And then there's an 11-mile multi-purpose trail, which is bike, horse, and pedestrian.
Yes.
We're sure we found our way to the crazy water place.
Well, what I understand is this one's empty. Is it the water is the same as it's been back whenever Mineral Wells was a booming town?
That's because there were 400 mineral wells at the time. Many of them have dried up, but the crazy water is still there, still in existence, and the Crazy Water Hotel opened just 2 years before the Baker downtown.
All right, well, let's go in and find out what the craze is about crazy water.
I'm going to start with the 3.
You're not even going to try one?
No.
I'm going to work my way up.
Oh. There is a mineral taste, but it's not real strong or real bad.
Okay.
Let's see how full it is. We didn't get as much before. You can taste the sulfate in that one. It's stronger.
The girl inside told me that they do have 3 wells that they collect from, and they're in these green buildings, and those are the where they get the water for the crazy water.
The Baker Hotel, opened in 1929, 2 weeks after the stock market crash.
And because of the crazy water is why they built the Baker Hotel, because people were flocking here
To Mineral Wells, Texas, for the waters.
And we did stop and ask a police officer, we saw one in the area, about, taking pictures and where we could go. And he said we could walk up here and walk around. And I'll be honest, this is one of those places that when I walked, I knew I was touching history. I was walking where some famous people had walked, literally on the same tile. And it gave me a real sense of awe. Helen Keller,
Mary Martin, the Three Stooges,
Lawrence Welk.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde we'll talk more about. But this was so cool. He said I could put my camera in any little holes. This is no video effect. It's like you step back in time. It's black and white. I know it's the shadows and stuff, but just the architecture of this building is so phenomenal. you don't see things made like this anymore. It's just breathtaking. And as I came back around to the front, I saw these guys. Now, I've been by the Baker Hotel a number of times, and I've never seen anyone there, much less someone that had keys that could open the gates and stuff. So I was really curious. But this walk goes across to the pool area.
An Olympic-sized pool. The Baker was also air-conditioned in 1929.
But here is the lifeguard stand as of today, and there is a little pool shed thing in back. You can see the speaker there. But I wondered where, think about 29, they built this with access to storage there. Then this part that drives under, and I really wonder if this was for famous people to load and unload.
It certainly
because
could have been.
This rock wall was around the back. They could come and go without being,
Yes.
hounded. But I did talk to these guys, and they said Bonnie and Clyde were frequent visitors on the 3rd floor, and they had a suite that they had, and they had the carpet removed outside of it so they could hear footsteps of people coming and going. But a lot of legend and a lot of famous things supposedly happened there.
And then we went to the Vietnam Memorial. Fascinating place.
Inside
is a small museum inside with all sorts of memorabilia, information about POWs and such.
And then they do have a replica of the wall in Washington, D.C., and this one is 2/3 the size.
It is updated every December. The one in Washington, D.C. is every December. This one's every June. And it's the only one the docent thought that is updated regularly.
And they do have a name finder, so if you know someone who lost their life at Vietnam, you can look that up, but it is just, it really takes your breath taking. Yeah,
yes.
To stand there and think of the sacrifice.
Well, Sharon, what did you think of Lake Mineral Wells State Park?
Honestly, it is one of my favorite state parks, mainly because of the wildlife.
Deer everywhere.
Yeah, even just driving in here, we saw a little buck with the fuzzy antlers and a doe along with him. So that is fun. And the Baker Hotel.
I love the Baker Hotel.
It's just so much history, and it's just awesome to feel that kind of
Connection.
and that what happened here?
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Yes.
And one of the most fun things we did is something we haven't done since we were kids. And last night we went fishing. And we're going to do a whole little video about fishing in state parks. But the point is, you don't have to have a fishing license. There's some rules. We're going to go over those later in a different video. But went fishing, and we were asking people, what are you using to catch with? And they said live bait. And so we got some lures.
Naturally.
Because our goal was to fish, not to catch. But that was just so much fun. And we got to see a sunset that we couldn't have seen from our campsite. So that was fun, getting out and seeing that.
Yes.
But there's just so much around here. It's fun. It's a nice, quiet park. Now, one warning if you're coming here. When you start into the camp area, there is once you see the spillway, get ready to make almost a U-turn. Onto that spillway is where you're going to be driving. It's a very hard turn and a very steep turn.
Yes.
So I had been out here and knew that was coming up, but it's...
But the road you see is not it. That will take you to the swim area.
Right, so it's an immediate turn.
Yes.
But anyway, it's a great park. It's a lot of fun.
And it's one we'll visit again.
Oh, absolutely. And the swim area, we cannot say enough how large it is and how gradual that slope is. So the shallow end is
There's
really
lots
large.
of room for little kids.
And like we said, 6 fishing piers, and we're going to take advantage of one of them.
Alrighty.
Look for us on our next travel, and thanks for watching
Two Tired Teachers.